had just moved into a quaint, old apartment downtown. It was affordable and close to her new job, but what really sold her was the large, antique mirror in the bedroom. It was beautifully ornate, with intricate designs along its gold frame. The first night, as Lena unpacked, she noticed something odd. When she glanced into the mirror, she saw a shadow move behind her. She turned quickly, but the room was empty. Shaking off the unease, she chalked it up to exhaustion and continued unpacking. Days passed, and the strange occurrences became more frequent. Objects would be slightly out of place, cold drafts would blow through her warm apartment, and the shadow in the mirror appeared more often, always just at the edge of her vision. One night, Lena decided to investigate. Armed with a flashlight, she approached the mirror. As she got closer, the temperature dropped, and she could see her breath misting in the air. She stood in front of the mirror, flashlight shaking in her hand.
"Who's there?"
she whispered, feeling foolish but terrified. To her horror, her reflection smiled, a cold, sinister grin that she wasn't making. Lena stumbled back, dropping the flashlight. The room plunged into darkness, and the only light came from the moon outside, casting an eerie glow. The reflection moved independently, stepping closer to the glass until it seemed to press against it, as if trying to break free. Lena's heart raced as she watched, frozen in fear.
"You shouldn't have come here,"
the reflection whispered, voice hollow and echoing. Lena backed away, but her feet felt rooted to the spot. The reflection's hand pressed against the glass, and cracks began to spiderweb across the mirror's surface. Panic surged through Lena as she realized she couldn't move, couldn't scream. With a final, shattering crack, the mirror exploded, shards flying everywhere. Lena covered her face, and when she lowered her arms, the reflection was gone. The room was silent. Breathing heavily, she looked around. The apartment was empty, but the feeling of being watched lingered. She glanced at the broken mirror on the floor, seeing only her own terrified face reflected in the shards. Lena packed her belongings that night and left, never to return. The apartment remained vacant, and the landlord never could explain why tenants never stayed long. Some say if you stand in front of the mirror at midnight, you can still see Lena's reflection, trapped and whispering for help.
It was a regular day at her hair salon. She was cleaning up after just finishing a client until she got a call to the salon at an unusual time of the day. She picked up the phone and said,
"Hello, how can I help you?"
The old lady answered,
I was wondering if you could come to my home to do my hair.
"Okay, what time should I come?"
I'd like for you to come very late at night, please. And can you be sure to come alone?
She was a bit hesitant about it all, but she agreed anyways.
Okay, not a problem.
Thanks.
On the way to the lady's home, she noticed that her house was the only house on the street. It didn't sit right with her, but again, she brushed it off. Not only was it the only house on the street, it was at the very end of the road, far away from civilization. Something told her to park across from the home and not in the driveway. She just had a gut feeling. She walked to the lady's door and rung the doorbell. No response. She rung it again. No response. Finally, the lady answered and she was happy to see her, but the lady didn't seem to be happy to see her. The woman let her in and she began setting up her things to do the lady's hair. But the lady immediately went upstairs. The hairstylist was awfully confused, but she just sat on the couch and waited for her to come back down. Quite a few minutes passed and the woman still hadn't come down, so the hairstylist decided to go upstairs to see what was going on. She made it upstairs, then came to a stop. She heard loud screeching noises coming from one of the bedrooms. She went in, and in there was the old lady. She was doing these weird, creepy movements, then stopped. The hairstylist watched her transform into something unimaginable. It looked to be a skeleton. It turned around to look at her, and the hairstylist was terrified. She quickly ran out of the house as fast as she could, but the thing chased after her. She ran all the way outside to her car. The skeleton was chasing and chasing her until it suddenly stopped. But she kept running as fast as she could. She finally looked back to see if it was gone, but instead she saw that the house had completely vanished, as if it was never there.
One day, I met a girl online and we became internet best friends. Although during our friendship, she would act weird. She would know what I was doing without me telling her.
Have fun doing laundry.
What? How did you know I was doing laundry?
Oh, you told me, remember?
Oh, I might have, sorry. Since we were friends for a while, she suggested that we meet up. I agreed and wrongfully said sure. Later that night, I asked my mom to drop me off at the beach. And that was the last place I was seen.
I have an idea.
What?
What if we stay at school under the whole night?
Yes. Oh my god, what a great idea. Wanna do it in the gymnasium?
Sure.
Alright, we are here.
This is the perfect place to hide.
This is getting boring already.
Let's take selfies. Smile. Gosh, I really gotta go to the bathroom.
Then go, bitch.
Okay, you whore. What the fuck? Is that you, Stacy? Stacy? What is that? Stacy? Oh fuck.
What the hell was that? Is that Bella? I think I need to check on her.
I thought it was just us three playing.
Yeah, it is.
Well then, who's that?
It's probably just a noob.
But how are they in our private server?
That is a little strange. Let's go check it out.
Hey, you need some help? I guess not.
Told you, simple AFK noob.
That is weird.
Let's go make a dance edit.
Sam, you're obsessed.
Yeah, well, I need to get as good as Vanny.
Come on, let's go. That kid is freaking me out.
I'm driving.
Guys, you saw that, right?
Saw what?
The tree, it just disappeared.
What are you talking about?
Look, there goes another one.
Let's just go and record your video.
Good idea. Wow, perfect parking there, Jordan.
Remind me to never get in a car with you.
Haha, very funny, guys.
Wait, that weirdo from before is here.
What is happening? Who are you?
I'm logging off.
It won't let me!
Me neither.
What?
This is crazy. I'm pulling my power cable. Ow.
What's wrong? I just wanted to play with you, Jordan.
There's someone outside my house, just staring at me. I'm pretty sure he's been following me.
Stay inside, ma'am. We will send a patrol car.
When the police arrived, they said they checked the area but couldn't see anyone. But for Sarah, something felt wrong. The following morning, Sarah didn't show up for work. Concerned, her colleague, Emily, decided to go and check on her. She rang the doorbell, then called out her name, but got no response. Emily went to check the side door, only to see it was already open. Making her way inside, she froze. Sarah lay sprawled on the floor, her scrubs stained a sickening red. The paramedics arrived within minutes, but there was nothing they could do. Sarah was gone. About an hour later, back at the hospital, Emily decided to check the security footage. She saw Sarah leaving, then a hooded figure emerging from the shadows. She took a closer look and noticed a face, both familiar and horrifying. It was Mr. Thompson, the seemingly harmless patient Sarah had cared for the night before, who had raved about Sarah's kindness. His eyes, once crinkled with gratitude, now held a terrifying emptiness. I can't believe it was him.
Susanna and Jane shared a small apartment near the university where they were students. When Susanna got back from the library one night, the lights were out and Jane was asleep. Susanna undressed in the dark and quietly got into bed. She had almost fallen asleep when she heard someone humming the tune to the song, "Oh, Susanna." "Jane," she said, "please stop humming. I want to get some sleep." Jane didn't answer, but the humming stopped and Susanna fell asleep. She awakened early the next morning, too early, she decided, and was trying to get back to sleep when she heard the humming again. "Please go back to sleep," she told Jane. "It's too early to get up." Jane didn't answer, but the humming continued. Susanna became angry. "Cut it out," she said. "It's not funny." When the humming still did not stop, she lost her temper. She jumped out of bed, pulled the covers off Jane, and screamed. Jane's head was gone.
Once upon a time there was a man that lived in a village. He lived alone in a little cottage and worked in a restaurant which was nearby. Every morning he woke up, ate breakfast, brushed his teeth, and went to work. He always went the same way. When he finished work, he always went the same way back and had a few beers with his friends. One day, he thought that he would take a little detour to work. So he got up extra early so that he could have his time to look around the area that he lived in. He walked a bit until he came to a beautiful villa. He walked up to the villa to see who lived there, but despite his knocking, no one answered. But he was so curious that he peeked into the keyhole. There he saw a very beautiful ballerina dancing very beautifully. He stood there for a long time just watching. It was the most beautiful thing he had ever seen. Then he had to hurry to work so as not to be late. He thought that after work he would go there and watch the dancing ballerina again. And as said, he went back to the villa and looked once more into the keyhole. But the ballerina was not there. All he could see was a red glow. It was strange, he thought, but there was nothing that could be done about it. So he went back and had a few beers with his friends and told them the whole story of the beautiful ballerina. Then one of his buddies looked at him and said, "Have you never heard of the ballerina with the red eyes?"
It was the worst night of my life. There were rumors that the school was haunted, but I didn't believe them. So when Caitlin dared me to spend the night at school alone, I agreed. After school that day, I headed to the restroom to meet Caitlin as planned. She wished me good luck and left. About an hour later, I heard the janitor leaving. Glad to finally be able to walk off the cramp in my leg, I ventured out into the hallway. The school was a lot creepier at night than I thought it would be, and the empty halls seemed so much bigger. I decided to raid the cafeteria for snacks before going into the principal's office to look at the CCTV. Hacking into his computer was easy, considering his password was password. I was flicking through the security footage when my heart dropped. Staring back at me was a tall, dark figure with an evil grin. I ran to the office door, only to see it coming straight towards me. Terrified, I jumped through the vent and moved as quickly and quietly as I could. I spun around and rushed in the opposite direction, coming out of the vent in the restroom. I ran towards the school entrance and then... They think I'm crazy, but this wasn't a dream.